2008. Look at the starting lineup for the Jayhawks tonight, and Joel Embiid will make his first start. So there are 4 freshmen: Mason, Selden Jr., Wiggins, and Embiid in the starting lineup tonight for Kansas. Billy Donovan's got a much more experienced team, and he's got Scotty Wilbekin back, and he's got Casey Hill. So he's got a healthier team than he's had. As we take a look at the starting lineup for the Gators right now, the big story for them this year, Casey Prather, who's gone from 6 points per game last year as a junior to 19 points per game this year as a senior. These are 2 teams, Dick, whether it's because of youth on one side or injuries and suspensions on the other side, there's a lot of growth potential for both of these programs.
Absolutely. I think when you look at these clubs from February and March, you're going to see teams that certainly are going to be major factors during March Madness. They're teams that have all the components, and they're certainly well coached, as both guys will ultimately be in the Hall of Fame.
And an early turnover. Tony Green, Pat Adams, James Breeding, our officials tonight. It'll be Kansas ball. And it looks like we're going to see pressure from Florida, Dick, right off the bat.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That's their style. They're going to come at you full court. They're going to use multiple defenses. They'll fall back possibly into a 1-3-1 zone.
Frank Mason starting at the point for Kansas. Nadir Tharp started the previous 6 games until the last one, but now Mason is in as the starter. So again, 4 freshmen on the floor right now for KU.
Embiid is back home. He's from the Gainesville area in terms of that he played here in high school last year.
Yeah, at the Rock School. Only his 3rd year of basketball from Cameroon. A remarkable story. Wiggins turns it over.
Dribble that ball a little bit high right there. They got a deflection on him.
And now Florida gives it right back. So nobody's even gotten a shot off yet.
They got to slow down, man. You look patient out there and try to make things happen too quickly, Dan.
Selden Jr. off to Embiid. 7-footer, jump hook too strong. And this is Wilbekin. When he rolled his ankle against UConn, it looked like it might keep him out a while. But a break for Florida. They didn't have a game in the last week, and he's back in there with it taped up.
They could have used him at the end of the game. Guarding Napier, certainly, with that big shot. He's done that a number of times for UConn.
Prather rejected by Wiggins. What a matchup with a small forward position.
You know, Wiggins is a very good defensive player.
Yep.
He has great quickness, timing.
And great length, too, at 6'8". Wilbekin can't get the shot up. Now he'll have to. And it'll stay with the Gators.
What a great environment this is. The Rowdy Reptiles, they're all fired up. Billy Donovan's done a magnificent job here, winning that back-to-back national titles in 2006 and 7. Hey, the last 3 years, they went to the Elite 8.
3 years in a row. We're looking at 2 coaches who are going to wind up in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about it. You can bet on that. Factor in Tom Izzo, I think those 3 are definitely heading to the Hall of Fame.
And all of them with high hopes for this season as well. Just the 5th ever meeting between Kansas and Florida. You and I were at the last one out in Vegas in 2006 when #1 Florida, that's Joakim Noah and Al Horford in that whole game. They went on to win the national championship, lost in overtime to 10th-ranked Kansas. Jump hook no good for Young.
That was a classic, man. That game was a classic. I hope this one will be half as good as that, baby.
This is Wiggins. And Wiggins is held. Wiggins is at 15 points per game, and Bill Self told us before the game that he's scoring more than he thought he would. There's been so much hype. The expectations are so high. And I asked Bill Self this morning, I said, give him a grade based on your expectations for him. And he said B+ or A-. He's happy with Wiggins as he knocks down the jumper.
Well, he's a little happier right there with him making a perimeter shot. They're shooting 29%. There's no doubt that Wiggins is going to be special. I think we're all guilty of wanting instant gratification. I said that on SportsCenter, and I really believe that. We rate and evaluate these kids so early.
Frazier into Young in a travel on the senior center. And now Young and Embiid get a little bit tangled up.
Probably know each other from right here. I think a guy that played a bigger role in Embiid decided to go to Kansas rather than Florida was Norm Roberts. Norm Roberts was on the staff here with Gainesville.
Yep.
His son goes to the Rock School. I think all of that played a factor. Billy Donovan's son went to the Rock, too.
That's right. Embiid told me this morning he also, last year when he paid a visit to Allen Fieldhouse, I mean, that place is special, as you know.
Oh, absolutely.
And that played a part in it as well, the environment they have in Lawrence. Wiggins the lob, and he throws it too high for Ellis.
See, right there, I think he has a tendency, Andrew, we talked about this with Bill Self. He wants to please all his teammates. He wants everybody. He wants to fit it. Right there, Dan, he should have exploded right to the goal. Right to the goal. He had an open lane.
Dorian Finney-Smith off the bench, a transfer from Virginia Tech, taking the place of Will You Get for the Gators.
He gives him a rebounder. Now they can score inside.
Casey Hill is in as well alongside Wilbekin, and Florida's on the board. And it's Finney-Smith contributing right off the bench. So we see Hill and Wilbekin playing together literally for the first time in an organized game because Wilbekin was suspended and then Hill got hurt. And it'll stay with Kansas. But now Billy Donovan can start to look at this team with all the issues they've had and start to visualize the kind of team that he might have come the second half of the season.
Well, exactly. You know, you mentioned all those injuries were unbelievable. But right there, that combination, very quick. Hill normally is an attacker. He's a guy that creates opportunities with his driving ability.
Mason the drive, and he is fouled. Finney-Smith picking up the foul, his first. I don't know how the players can hear the whistle.
I know, it's tough to hear you right here, man. It's unbelievable. This place is rocking. College basketball, nothing like college basketball on a college campus. It is so special and unique.
Just the fifth ever meeting between the Gators and the Jayhawks. Kansas has won 3 of the previous 4.
You know, one of these clubs going to have their third loss.
Selden almost traveled. And it'll stay at this end of the floor. Plenty of time to shoot. Hard to believe that somebody will lose for the third time, but they've both had some tough losses already. Florida losing at Wisconsin, and then a heartbreaker we showed you at UConn. Kansas lost down in the Bahamas to Villanova, and then lost at Colorado in their last game.
Making that perimeter shot.
Selden with a 3, and Kansas back on top.
Very strong, very physical. He's got good potential.
Had a great game against Duke when we saw him last month. Look at the strength of Young. Can't finish, though. Frazier leaves it short. Here come the Jayhawks. And Ellis, trying to take it coast to coast, has it knocked away.
You know, if they lose their third game, when you talk about Kansas, it'll be the first time since 2006 that they've lost 3 this early. For Florida, 1997.
Wow. Patrick Young sits down. Will You Get back in? A much smaller lineup right now for Florida. You Get is 6'8", 230. Embiid is 7 foot, 250.
Embiid's just learning how to play. Really just learning how to play.
Wiggins inside of the big guy. Bill Self yelling at his players this morning. Get the ball inside, and you can see why. What a nice little spin by Embiid, who it bears repeating, never played organized basketball until about 2.5 years ago. Played soccer and volleyball growing up in Cameroon.
Can you imagine the volleyball? Unbelievable.
You Get for 3. Yeah, apparently Embiid, when he would spike the ball, I mean, he would scatter some people.
Shooting the perimeter shots also a real concern for Billy Donovan.
Mason with a 3. I thought this team struggled from outside.
29%. 29% in the first 8 games. You can tell they had some real practices involving a lot of shooting from the perimeter.
8-0 run Jayhawks. Finney-Smith is fouled. A timeout on the floor. Our first media timeout here at Gainesville. Bill Self has to like what he has seen inside and outside, Dickie V.
Well, that's Embiid with that little drop step inside. That great size, very agile. And now we're going to see right there, Mr.
His teeth in the sport here in the Gainesville area. He lived with a host family for 5 to 6 months, went to the Rock School. His high school coach is here this evening, and he even went to a high school game last night, talked to the kids, and told them, what else? Work hard.
Tell you one thing, Shannon, tough time getting tickets. His coach said he had a tough time getting tickets for the team. I mean, it's a hot ticket, man. You should give up some of your tickets.
Bill Self says great Talent, obviously. Great kid, great student, very respectful, hard work, the whole package as Wilbekin misses. And there are a lot of NBA scouts here tonight for many reasons, but Embiid is one of them. It is not beyond the realm of possibility, Dick. He could be the #1 pick in the NBA draft next year.
Well, that size is mobile, agile. I'll tell you one thing, though, if he is a #1 pick, you're going to have to tuck him away for a year or two to develop his game.
Of course, Bill Self hoping to get more than just 1 year out of it.
He's really in a learning process. Had 10 points in the first half against Colorado and then disappeared the entire second half. But he's gotten foul trouble a lot to shoot.
A rejection by Embiid. He had 7 in a game earlier this year. One of the big keys for him is staying out of foul trouble. Knowing when to go after it, knowing when to pull back.
He had 7 against Villanova.
Wiggins with a miss. Back come the Gators, struggling offensively. 3 points in almost 5.5 minutes. Hill, look at that. Wow. The phrase you hear about him is he's got the ball on a string, and he certainly did there.
Tell you one thing, he's very aggressive, has good vision. What did Bill Self say before the game? He might be the most talented perimeter young player right now who's just learning how to play. Tyler Ennis is terrific up at Syracuse.
What a nice move by Casey Hill, 6'1" freshman out of Umatilla, Florida, who missed 4 games with a sprained ankle. So this is the first time they've had Hill and Wilbekin together. They had one game where they didn't have either of them, and they didn't have either, as you mentioned earlier, for the last few minutes of that 1-point loss at UConn.
Hill's going to have to work on making perimeter shots because people are going to play off him. That'll allow him to maybe get to the rim.
Patrick Young's back in. Michael Frazier with the ball right now for Florida. Both of these teams 6-2. Kansas ranked 13th, Florida 19th.
Frazier can shoot the basketball. That's his strength. Shooting that perimeter shot.
Wilbekin knocks down a 3.
I want one question. Why is he always suspended? I mean, if you can't enjoy playing in this environment and follow the rules and regulations, man, as the world of Scotty spins.
Billy Donovan actually offered him a release back in the spring, said you're going to be suspended. If you want to go somewhere else, go. But Wilbekin stayed, went through the suspension, and Billy Donovan says to his credit, he's got a much better attitude now.
He also came here out of high school a year early,
right,
so he could play. He could have went to school for another year, but he graduated. You got to watch the ball come over. He's a solid player, and he can make the 3. Tough defender. Plays with a lot of emotion and passion.
And Hill back in now. So now Billy Donovan can always have one of them in the game and rest the other if need be. Frazier inside to Young. Over Tariq Black, and a foul as Black has come in for Embiid. Black, a 5th-year player, a transfer from Memphis who had started every game until this one, but Embiid has gotten better and better, and Black's been in foul trouble almost constantly.
Yeah, he really has been. Has not been as productive when you look at his minutes that they anticipated coming from Memphis, who, by the way, we will see against Florida
next week
in the Jimmy V Foundation game, the Classic.
We'll have Cincinnati and Pittsburgh in the first game, and then Florida-Memphis in the second game 1 week from tonight.
Pittsburgh hasn't lost yet.
Part of a big week. A couple days later, we've got Duke and UCLA at the Garden in New York as well.
And we're going to stay overnight. Stay there. Stay in the Big Apple.
Yeah. Young 1 of 2. 6-0 run Florida.
Young seems like he's been here for about 10 years. Patrick Young, big, strong. I've always looked at him as a tight end.
I wonder if he's ever lifted any weights. Wiggins. Not this time. Hit an earlier 3. Ball's loose. And it'll be Florida ball.
The one thing he must do against Kansas is keep Wiggins away from transition. Make him play 5-on-5 and shoot that perimeter shot. Even if he makes 1, it's going to entice him to go 2 and 3 from there, and that is not his strength.
His strength is his phenomenal athleticism and getting to the rim. And as you said, he does that better in an up-and-down transition-filled game than in a 5-on-5 game.
We saw that in Duke in the game at the end of the game. He was responsible for winning that game.
Another 3. This one for Finney Smith. And Florida's on a 9-0 run to take the lead.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Seth Greenberg did a great job getting Finney Smith to come here because he's quality competition. Hey, these guys, their jobs are secure. I don't think they're going anywhere, Donovan itself. So you can play quality people. I mean, what is a loss going to do to you at this time of the year?
Well,
really?
Bill Self was joking. Who made this schedule? They went down to the Bahamas, then at Colorado, at Florida. 3 of their next 4 are New Mexico, Georgetown, and San Diego State. A very tough schedule that, of course, Bill Self was instrumental in creating. But the Jayhawks are getting after it on the scheduling front.
Well, I'm glad you said Bill Self, because you can guarantee any teams both these guys play, they have a lot to say as to who they play.
Mason with a runner. Jamari Traylor couldn't put it back in, but a fresh 35 now for the Jayhawks.
He's been a solid player with his athleticism off the bench.
Again, zone look from Florida. Kansas will see a lot of it. Selden, in and out. Wiggins keeps it alive, but it's Gator ball. Hill coast to coast, and a foul.
Tell you one thing, Hill's got a great handle. He can really handle the rock, man, and he really handles it at a really unbelievable speed.
Second foul on Tariq Black.
All right, watch his speed. You're going to see him right now. I think Shannon's getting excited. She thinks she's at NASCAR. And look at that speed out there. Unbelievable.
I mean, Frank Mason, he blew out a tire trying to get back on D right there. Wound up on the seat of his pants. McDonald's All-American and Casey Hill at the line for the Gators. And now Bill Self goes a little bit deeper into his bench. Brandon Green, a 6'7" freshman from Juliet, Georgia, is into the game. As Selden sits down. With this kind of pace and adrenaline in the building tonight, you need a lot of bodies.
A lot of emotion, too. These kids, they understand a game like this is going to bring a lot of emotion, a lot of pride. They know each other, play against each other, travel basketball when they were young kids, a lot of these guys.
Right now, Wilbekin is on Wiggins. We saw Wiggins go in the post against Duke. Again, they're zoning, but Wilbekin the foul. Wilbekin's over on Wiggins' side, and we'll see if they try to take advantage and get Wiggins inside. Meanwhile, 10-0 run right now for the Gators.
Well, the Gators really get back. Get a little trend. Look at Hill. Little this, little shake and bake, little dipsy, little high floater in the lane. And now we're going to watch Mr. Finney Smith, man. He can shoot the trifecta. Most of the people have been so beautiful,
well,
like you.
It's been a joy to sit here. We've been doing this about 11 years together now. Been a joy to sit here beside you and call all these games over the years. And for more impressions and the video that we at ESPN put together internally, really, to commemorate Dick's 35th anniversary, but you can check it out at ESPNFrontRow.com.
I saw yours too, man. I saw yours.
You've given me a little material over the years, my friend.
Oh, you got to make that layup inside. Good inside action. Come up empty on the layup.
Kansas has gone cold, and Florida, which started 1 for 9, they've made their last 3. It's a 10-0 run and a 3-point lead for the Gators. Dorian Finney-Smith is fouled as Embiid will check back into the game and out for KU.
You know, Finney-Smith's done a solid job off that bench at 2 big threes. One of the reasons why they caught Kansas and have taken that lead. So tough here. The last time they lost, you and I sat here. They lost to Kentucky with Gilchrist and with Anthony Davis. You know what? Not a bad loss. A lot of people lost to them.
Florida's run 20 in a row at home. That's the 4th longest streak in the nation. And Missouri's got the longest at 24. Prather right now not really trying to be aggressive with Wiggins defending him. Wilbekin needs some help, finds Prather. Now he'll drive, get inside, and the shot altered, but how about the follow by Patrick Young?
That was all strength, all physicality. Just a big, tough, tenacious inside player. Go to a half-court trap right now.
Little 1-3-1 here from Florida. And Kansas is a team, as we mentioned, they've struggled against the zone, but the buzz in the house is still about Patrick Young at the other end of the court.
Well, what they're trying to do against that 1-3-1, they're going 2-1-2. They go even against odd. If they play a 2-3 zone, they'll go odd against even to try and get into the gaps and seams. Wiggins got to be a guy that wants the ball and attack a gap. He is such an explosive, got a great first step.
Shot clock down to 8. Ellis the lob inside for Embiid, knocked away, and the Gators have it again.
The guy that's not been very active tonight is Ellis. We saw Ellis. We were so impressed against Duke. He was so dominant.
And Ellis and Prather, we've really got 2 of the most improved players in the nation from a year ago. Wilbekin still going, puts it up, and hits.
He did a terrific job on his first step in attacking the 3-second area. If you're a guard, man, you want to get into that 3-second area. You want to find open people or pull up like he did with the little short jump shot.
It's a 14-0 run for Florida.
This zone is bothering them. Really is bothering them. They haven't got a good shot against him yet.
You get count the basket. I believe. Gonna have to wait. No, the signal, no. Looked like James Breeding was saying count the basket and a foul, but it's 2 free throws, no basket.
Well, the sequence why Florida's where they are defensively, Billy's got to really be pleased. That zone is very active, and it has created havoc for Kansas.
Finney Smith to the line. He's had a very active start to this game tonight. Kansas has gone to more than 6 minutes since they scored a point as Nadir Tharp and Wayne Selden Jr. come back into the game for the Jayhawks.
Told us before the games that Tharp can make shots. Hasn't made them yet, but we know he can make shots.
Wiggins made an early 3. Not much since. Kansas has gone ice cold.
They've really done a great job keeping the ball away from Wiggins, but he's got to be a little bit more in motion and want that ball. See, he's on a wing right now and stationary.
Boy, are they struggling against the zone.
They're out of sync. There's no rhythm right there. They're not in sync. That's not a typical Bill Self basketball team. But then again, and I'm not making excuses there, we're looking at a complete different backcourt from what they had in the past. There's a big change in personnel.
Another timeout for Bill Self. And he's talked about it for days. He said everybody's going to zone them until they prove they can play well against the zone, and they have not proven that in the first 10:24 here tonight. Saturday afternoon here on ESPN. Catch a great college hoops doubleheader at 3:15 Eastern Time. Notre Dame and Indiana. Then at 5:15 Eastern, you and I will be in Chapel Hill. It's Kentucky and North Carolina. Both games also available live on Watch ESPN. Two of the great programs in college basketball history in Kentucky and North Carolina. The question about Carolina is, which team are you going to get? The team that lost to Belmont, or the team that went out and beat Louisville, went out and beat Michigan State? You just don't know what you're going to get from the Tar Heels so far.
Well, I did a whole column on ESPN.com. If you go /Dick Vitale on unpredictability in college basketball, and they are the perfect description of unpredictability. Can you imagine, though? I had put it on Twitter after they beat Michigan State. If they had P.J. Hairston and McDonald to add a little depth, Hairston a first-round pick, I look at them as an elite top 5 basketball team.
And nobody knows if they'll get those guys back at any point this season. Young inside. Ball still loose, and Young gets to it and drives. And right now, Kansas not only having trouble executing, they're getting outworked right now. And that's the thing that'll make Bill Self the angriest.
They're getting beat on the glass. And when they're getting beat on the glass like that, you're really being out-hustled and out-scrapped.
They keep track, the KU program does, of 50-50 balls, loose balls that either team should get. They were beaten 22-10 against Villanova, 18-6 against Colorado, and another one just goes the Gators' way.
I tell you, Bill Self, as you said, he cannot be pleased with their effort on the glass right now. You got to be hungry.
Rebounds are 14-6 in favor of Florida.
And that was the dilemma for Kentucky, who's coming up next. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Kentucky reacts after losing to Baylor. They were out-rebounded 41-25.
And already bonus for Florida.
And I'll tell you, that next game, Boise State is not Cupcake City. They went up to Lansing last year and almost beat Michigan State.
They're the highest scoring team in the country. Better than 91 a game. You get at the line.
The last 5 minutes, it's been all Gators. Created off the defense, created off the struggle that Kansas is having attacking the zone.
Kansas has not scored a point in better than 7 minutes. And now it's Young called for the foul, going up for the rebound. Just his first. He's a very, very important guy for them to keep on the floor, just to put a big body on Embiid.
See, they got the size at the point of that. pressure. Prather, big, long arms. They are really having a difficult time. They haven't had a solid possession. If you were to look at an offensive efficiency, it would be so negative, it's unreal.
They've turned it over on their last 4 possessions, all of them against the 1-3-1 zone.
And as they say in football, if the play works, keep going with it, go with it. Well, he'll keep going with that 1-3-1 defense.
Wilbekin turns the corner, high off the glass and good.
Not good defense right there. A little high screen. He comes off it. Nobody steps out. Nobody hedges. And he goes right to the goal.
18-0 run.
It's hard to believe against a team like Kansas with a star talent like Wiggins. See, Wiggins is just drifting in the corner.
Misses the 3. Kansas ball.
They won't let him do that, Dan.
Yep.
Florida will take a chance with him shooting threes. Not that he can't shoot, but he is more or less an attacker, driver, slasher.
Wiggins again. Gets it back.
He's going to do what he does best, try to attack the rim.
Tharp into Embiid. Gator ball. What a drought for Kansas. Finney Smith. Yes!
They're on fire. They're on fire. And the Rowdy Reptiles love it. They love it. They don't have much to cheer about with the pigskin. They got a lot to cheer about with the round ball.
Pieces I'd like, but we got time to work on it.
Still working on that chemistry. 21-0 run for Florida Gators here at the O-Dome, Dan.
Shannon, thank you. 24-10 the score. How about this? Florida's missed 13 shots. They've got 9 offensive rebounds. Just, if you're Bill Self, this game is completely, the effort's completely unacceptable on a number of levels. Can they solve the zone? Ellis spins inside, and they score after a drought of about 8 minutes and 43 seconds.
Well, he did a great job getting the ball into an open gap area to Ellis, but Billy came out of the 1-3-1, went to a 2-3 zone, and they got right in the open seam.
Wilbekin kept the toe down. Frazier with a 3.
That's his strength. He can make those threes.
Frazier shooting better than 50% from beyond the arc this year.
That's one of his big strengths is the full court pressure. Keyed by Wilbekin, who loves to play on the defensive end. They got some good athletes, man, that they can rotate all over.
Wiggins on the bench right now. Andrew White III, a sophomore from Richmond, a good shooter, is into the game for KU. That's him with the ball. Embiid gets a touch. Ellis with a cut and back-to-back field goals for KU.
Nice play right there by Embiid to recognize the double team rotating over. I mean, that's pretty good for a kid, very limited in basketball.
Good passing ability, great feet, good shot blocking, and an offensive game that's getting better week by week.
He's coachable, too, and that makes him special. Doesn't have that mindset, well, I'm going to make millions and millions. He wants to get better.
Finney Smith misses the 3. And White and Embiid collide and knock the ball out of bounds. Wiggins coming back in. Some ugly numbers so far for Kansas, especially the turnovers and the rebound margin.
Well, look at a -6 rebound, turnovers with 8. I mean, right now shooting 40%. Bench certainly goes an edge to Florida. Sometimes it's great taking on a star when he's out there thinking, he's just passive on the floor. I think that's what Bill did for a moment, just took Andrew out, saying, look, you're too good, man. You're too good a player.
Young. Got it.
He gets the ball in that deep, little jump hook in the lane. They really want to play deep. Look at the determination. Somebody step in.
Ellis needs some help, but he finds a white jersey. It's Frazier.
Well, they did a good job rotating, helping one another.
It'll stay with Florida.
Guy beats you off the dribble. You got to have a teammate rotate over and step right in the lane.
A 15-point lead for the Gators with 5:35 to go. Kansas held to 14 points in better than 14 minutes. Young again. And Embiid down with a rebound.
I'll tell you one thing, I like Embiid. He has really improved from what we saw earlier this year.
Mason turns it over. Out of control on the drive.
I think that's a great description of Kansas thus far. Out of control.
11 turnovers committed in less than 15 minutes. Bill Self's going to the bench again. He's going to keep trying different people until he finds a combination that might click. Good hands there by Wiggins, but Finney Smith is called for the over and back. The Gators arguing the call, but Tony Green saying that Finney Smith got to it in the front court and then took it into the back court.
I agree with Tony Green. I think Tony Green made a really good call. He was right on it. Okay, watch this. See, he stepped over and back. Absolutely. Tony Green, give him a star. We're always on these guys. We get on the Zebras. Tony Green, you go home and you get a star tonight.
Landon Lucas, redshirt freshman out of Portland, into the game for the first time now for the Jayhawks. And a foul on Frazier.
Frazier goes down. Frazier. I like the way you say that.
You know,
Frazier.
even the bench, though, the Florida bench is applauding that foul. Billy Donovan is as well.
Effort.
They're getting after it.
Effort.
Yeah. I mean, Ellis just about had that ball taken away from him, and Frazier was nowhere near it at the outset of the play.
You know what's really interesting? Every pass that Kansas makes, it is a struggle on a pass. You don't see that smooth ball movement. But I think that's attributed to the fact they have a young backcourt, came in highly rated. It's a big adjustment to the collegiate level.
Wiggins is fouled.
That's what he's got to do. Take the ball and attack the basket.
ESPNU has you covered on Thursday and Friday with college hoops. Thursday at 7 Eastern, Maryland takes on Boston College in an early ACC battle. And then Friday at 9:30, this is a big one in Iowa. Iowa and Iowa State. Bragging rights. Both games also available live on Watch ESPN.
I would like to watch that game. That game is going to be terrific. Both clubs are legitimate. Sam McCaffrey and Freddie Herberg have two outstanding basketball teams. That game is over at Iowa State, the Hilton Magic.
Yeah. Well, you loved it there, huh? You had a great time there.
They got a nice team. Is that active?
Lucas back out to Wiggins.
Right, a little matchup.
Wiggins drives, lost it, and it's an offensive foul as he steamrolled you again.
He's thinking. The kid, as you said earlier, has got so much PR, so much hype from the day he entered the collegiate campus. He's trying now really to help his club go to the rim. They get him with a charge.
Wiggins 1 for 5, 2 points tonight. Kansas down 15.
He only had like 5 or 7 against Colorado at halftime, and then exploded in the second half. Ended up with 22.
Did the same against Duke.
Exactly. But Duke is in foul trouble.
Young.
Can't let him get the ball that easy inside. Getting the ball inside too easy. I know he takes a lot of space with that body, but you got to find a way to really get him away from that lane. Playing behind him like they are. See, right now, he gets that ball in too deep. I mean, that's a little 4-foot, 5-foot shot. Look at him staying up there nice and soft and rolls in.
Yeah, he's fired up. The senior with 7 averages just over 10.
3 years in a row, the senior class, Patrick Young part of it. They've gone to the Elite Eight. They've lost to Butler, they've lost to Louisville, and they lost last year. Mr. Staskis went 6 for 6, shooting threes for Michigan.
Young, a big ovation as he goes to the bench. Some high hopes for these Gators as they get healthier and maybe get some of the ineligible players back, that this could be a special year here in Gainesville.
It's a process right now for Kansas. They are in a situation trying to become cohesive. Florida right now tonight looks cohesive as a team, the way they're playing.
You know, it's amazing that because they lost some really good play. They lost Boynton, and they lost Murphy, and they lost Rosario from last year.
Look at the struggle. Look at this struggle. It looks almost like a mismatch early here.
everything but the finish for Finney Smith. Now here's Wiggins in transition. And this is where he excels.
He is a superstar in transition. You watch him at the next level with the 24-second clock, players around him. You know, really, in fairness to him, too, he's playing with a backcourt that's very inexperienced.
Finney Smith with a dozen. Another turnover.
Kicking balls. I mean, this is the worst I've seen Kansas play in years.
Wiggins with a block. And Lucas and Traylor get tangled up for the second time in a row. Two Kansas players turn the ball over to Florida. Listen to this place.
Cash it out on Kentucky's freshman class.
Basketball is a team game. It's about a collective responsibility, not an individual responsibility.
It was not until the beginning of February, my freshman year, that I finally understood the pace of the game.
All right, back to Dan and Dick in Gainesville. We'll see at the half.
All right, Chris Fells, thank you very much. And what a half it's been if you're a fan of the Gators. They're up 18 right now with 3:09 to go. Over to Gainesville. The Journey to the Tourney, presented by Sonic, continues on Saturday at 5:15 Eastern Time here on ESPN. A classic matchup between Kentucky and North Carolina, two of the most storied programs in college basketball history. One of the great freshmen in the country in Julius Randle, and one of the most improved players in the country in Marcus Page.
Now I'm excited to go down there in Chapel Hill. Marcus Page has improved so much, as you said, Dan. Hey, don't forget the next game, people. You watch Kentucky against Boise State. Boise State's an experienced basketball team. That will not be Cupcake City. Man-to-man now came out of the zone.
They were in the zone really about 12, 13 minutes, I think.
They got Wilbekin right now playing against Wiggins. Get the ball to Wiggins. Throw it right inside. Get it to Wiggins.
Instead, the drive by Traylor, the kick.
Wiggins wants it, too.
And a foul. Wiggins was down in the post when he didn't get the ball. Then he kind of came out on the perimeter.
He really wanted the ball on the interior. Kansas got two great recruits coming in next year. Cliff Alexander, came out by Kelly Oubre, who can really shoot, handle. Paul Biancardi, ESPNU, had both guys rated number 3 and number 10 in the nation.
Selden Jr. at the line for Kansas, freshman out of Roxbury, Mass, averaging about 9 points per game. Built kind of like a running back, 6'5", 230. 1 of 2. Does Kansas have a spark or a run in him here in the last 2.5?
Well, they're going to have to do a job better defensively.
Frazier the miss. Long rebound, tip to Young.
And that's been the story of the night. They've dominated on the glass, getting second and third opportunities.
Frazier off balance, misses the shot. Wiggins down with another rebound. Behind the back, through traffic.
He tried to do too much himself right there. He was really trying, the kid, to get up and down the court.
Held the ball, and the arrow gives it to Florida.
These 2 minutes are big to Kansas. They got to get a couple of good things going. Go to the locker room with a little hope instead of carrying that down look.
Embiid back into the game as well now for Kansas. 16 turnovers committed by Kansas tonight. That matches the most they've turned it over in an entire game this year.
I know, 16 and a half. Think about that. Think about that.
They did that in the loss to Villanova down in the Bahamas.
Jay Wright's club really doing a phenomenal job.
Still undefeated.
Yep, playing really well together. Great balance.
Shot clock at 12. Wilbekin the drive, the kick. Finney Smith had a big first half.
He made 2 big threes.
You get with a jump hook. Young with a rebound, rejected by Embiid. Here's Wiggins. And a foul on Wilbekin.
Tell you one thing, Wilbekin's taking a challenge. He wants to play against Wiggins one-on-one.
Second on Wilbekin, and bonus for Kansas.
And right now he steps in. Oh, there's the contact. As soon as he did what he put that shoulder in the wall.
Wiggins 66% at the line.
You hear some of the cries from the Rowdy Reptiles, overrated, overrated. I don't care what this kid does. I have seen him play, Dan. I'm telling you, he's for real. He is a talented athlete. He's got things you cannot teach, explosiveness. I think he's going through a thinking process, and he's playing with limited experience on the perimeter.
Well, one of the big stories tonight, Kansas has struggled from the perimeter. They've turned it over, and the zone defense, which Billy Donovan used a lot, has really been a big factor in this game.
It really has. They've struggled against the zone all night, trying to get a good shot. Either they can shoot the long-range jump shot. Now he tries to go to the lane. They get him with a charge to the basket. Bill Self, Norm Roberts and his gang. Terrence Howard also played for him over in Illinois on the staff. One thing about Bill Self, he'll get them to right the ship. There's talent, but the bottom line is they're going through a learning stage, understanding how to play at the collegiate level. They got a totally new backcourt.
Well, they've won 9 straight regular season of Big 12 titles, and in 2 of those years, they had an immense amount of turnover like they had coming into this year. So they have had a lot of success even in this kind of a situation before.
It's going to be tough this year with Oklahoma State there. Marcus Smart and company.
Wiggins makes them both.
On a little full court pressure. Trying to go double up with him at the point. Wiggins at the point with that size. He's got good length. Playing like a 3-2. Some would say it's a 1-2-2. He's going to try and take him into a trapping area.
Into the game for Florida, Jacob Kurtz, a great story, a former manager who became a walk-on and has gotten a lot of minutes this year because of all the issues the Gators have had. They leave Young alone, and he knocks it down from the corner.
Wide open. I mean, wide open. They just said, shoot it, big fella. And he says, you know what? I'm going to shoot it. It's going to be nothing but nylon. There's a half-court trap again.
Selden rejected by Young. Kansas ball. Boy, Patrick Young is getting after it here.
They all are defensively. We got to credit Florida. We keep talking about the inexperience and how much they're struggling, but let's give a little credit to Florida with the defensive effort. I can't remember sitting at courtside seeing a Kansas team look this unsure of themselves and playing against his own.
Selden, no.
Can you? I mean, I can't.
Not that I can recall, no. And now behind the play, Embiid is called for a foul, and he looks a little bit shaken up. Is it a technical foul on Embiid? He and Young collided. Not a technical, a personal foul on Joel Embiid. This was behind the play as he and Young were coming up the court. And Embiid called for, I guess, wrapping that right arm around the waist of Young and taking him down. Double bonus, 2 free throws for Young.
Young's really been a star here in the first half. His physicality and toughness on the inside has been a big plus for Florida.
Into the game for the first time is Connor Frankamp, another freshman. He's out of Wichita. Reputation as a great shooter, but he has not been making them recently for Kansas.
Made a couple early in the season against Duke, and since then it's been Ice City. You know, I remember when Billy Donovan came here, a lot of people didn't think you could turn this to be a basketball situation. Well, he certainly has shown. Got a great place to recruit for, beautiful campus, uses football in a positive way.
They can hold for the final shot. Wiggins step back jumper knocks it down. A long 2 for Wiggins.
You can see some of the skills he possesses right there. The ability to get free, a little one-on-one move. Down 15. The key of the game will be the first 4 minutes of the second half. That is a must for Kansas to go on a spurt.
Shannon Spake is with Kansas coach Bill Self.
Coach, you guys have seen a lot of zone in the games you've played so far this season. Why has this one been so disruptive?
Well, they're playing great, and we're playing awful. And, you know, we turn the ball over, it seems like every possession. So we need to regroup and just come out and try to get better second half.
16 turnovers.
It's a long game. It's a long game.
It is certainly a long game, and 16 turnovers. What's going on there?
Well, we're not handling the ball very well, and they're gapping us in their zone, and we just need to do a much better job at attacking them.
See you in the second half.
An ugly first half for Kansas, maybe fortunate in some ways to only be down 15. 36-21 Florida at halftime here in Gainesville. Now time to send it back to the studio. Chris Cotter, Seth Greenberg, Jay Williams are there with a Mazda halftime report.
Thank you, Dan. Mazda halftime. Chris.
Florida with more, here's Shannon Spake.
Of course, Billy Donovan extremely happy with what he's seen out of his players in this first half, in the first 20 minutes. The thing he pointed out to me, though, was that Frazier, Wilbekin, and Prather both have 2 fouls. He said we need to get those down, and he knows Kansas is not going to settle down for the next 20 minutes. It'll be intense.
You know, Shannon, coach is always finding something to moan about. I mean, he had a great first half, and he's talking about 2 fouls on a guy in the perimeter.
And right away, Young with a block, and then Mason commits the foul. Young will help him up, and the second half doesn't begin any better, and Bill Self can hardly bear to look right now.
You know, Mason and Selden really struggling against these defenses, trying to make that adjustment as you look at that staff. Clay Townsend's doing them like 10 years.
When Bill Self gets really angry, you kind of see a smile instead of him yelling and getting all over his players, and you can only imagine what it was like at halftime in the Kansas locker room.
Well, he's got a lot of pride, and right now his team didn't play with that pride. I think they're allowed to get the ball in too deep. You can't allow a guy with post presence like that to sit in the box and get the ball that deep.
Young with a dozen.
And there's that zone, very aggressive. Wilbekin right there creating problems. You know, Wiggins the kind of kid, his eyes get like a $50 if he sees man-to-man. He sees that zone, I think he starts to float on the perimeter.
Wiggins to inbound.
Talk about the first 4 minutes, so vital to Kansas. There's that aggressive zone.
Again, 4 freshmen on the court for the Jayhawks. And another turnover.
I mean, we're not talking Apple turnovers. I love Apple turnovers, man. We're talking turnover city with the Rock.
18 turnovers in 21 minutes. Selden out, Tharp in.
Wilbekin's been the catalyst out there at that point guard slot. Experienced, has a winner's mentality.
Amazing thing is how big of a lead Florida has when their leading scorer, Casey Prather, hasn't scored at all in the game.
Shows you their balance.
As Shannon mentioned, had the foul trouble in the first half. Young, left hand this time, rolls off the rim, and Wiggins down with another rebound.
Kansas did a better job late in the first half to get down the rebound totals. See the zones making it stationary. So Wiggins just standing on the wing.
And they keep switching between the 1-3-1 and the 2-3.
Use the skip pass to get it over to Wiggins' side.
Deep 3 by Tharp. Wiggins with a rebound. And will shoot a couple of free throws.
Against that zone, you got to utilize the skip pass. If you throw it to the guy next to you, the zone just slides, and they adjust very easily.
You know, another guy who doesn't look comfortable at all out there against the zone is Embiid. He looked much more comfortable just knowing where the defender was in man-to-man.
Well, Kansas doesn't play Syracuse, do they? If they play Syracuse, see that zone, they'll see a real zone.
Yep.
I mean, Syracuse to me might be. And I'm certainly, you know, Arizona, I voted #1. They deserve to be #1. They're undefeated, etc. But Syracuse might be the best team in the country. I never thought their guards would be this good this early.
Yep.
This early.
Ennis and Cooney.
Yep.
Cooney shooting the ball great. Ennis, a freshman, doing a terrific job at the point for the Orange. Screen by Young.
What's impressive with Florida's shot selection, they've done a great job of getting good shots. And that's the key to being an effective team on the offensive side. Understanding what a good shot is.
Wilbekin off the side of the backboard.
Should have dumped that off.
Mason with a full head of steam, lays it in.
You know, that's the kind of Kansas basketball you expect to see. Run, baby, run, utilize it, their athleticism. We have not seen that. That may be the first real breakout we've seen.
It feels like more, but it's down to 13. Prather
It does feel like more.
The length of Embiid bothering Prather. They're running again. Mason does save it.
Reversing the Wiggins.
Wiggins for three. Got it.
That's a big three. I mean, it's down to 10. Would you believe it? As you just said so well, Dan, it seems like it's a 20-point blowout.
It felt like that through the entire first half. Largest lead has been 18, but it's down to 10.
You know, Wiggins looks pretty good when he shoots the ball. Good form, good technique. Even though that's not his forte in terms of his strength, he's not a bad-looking shooter.
Frazier off to Prather. Young battling with Embiid down low. Now Wilbekin for three.
That's a big three. Don't need all the hot dog and all the mustard. Wave it to the body. Raptors, get back and play basketball. I think he'll drive Billy Donovan bananas. I really do. I mean, there's a lot of good about him. You love him. That's why you play him. But I think he's one of those kids that drive you to the...
Wiggins wide open. Misses this three. Better ball movement here in the second half against the zone for Kansas.
That was a big three by Wilbekin. They needed that because Uncle Mo was starting to slide to Kansas.
But now a Florida turnover. Wiggins in transition going right to the rim.
Oh, should have dunked it.
Yep.
Should have dunked it. I think he'd like to have that back. He'd like to have that back.
Free throws for Wiggins when we come back. But Wilbekin, the guy who knocked down the shot that has given them a 13-point lead.
Yeah, they came back, got it to 10, and then Wilbekin knocks three down, and then he gets a little hot dog to the crowd.
Come to you. You have spent time with so many families. You've helped out so many families in so many different ways.
Well, Dan, I went to 3 funeral services for 3 little kids, spoke at one in recent years, and one of the fathers is here with me as my guest tonight, Patrick Wright, who lost his daughter Peyton. Shouldn't be going to funerals for kids. They belong out there playing.
Florida leading by 11. They've led by as many as 18. Andrew Wiggins has 7 of Kansas's 9 points here in the second half. Brandon Green is into the game for Kansas.
They're going to have to do a real solid job defensively to get themselves really back in this game. Certainly not out of the woods down on the 11.
You get with a left hand. Loose ball belongs to Florida, but only briefly.
Ellis has really been quiet. He had that one great spin move in the lane in the first half.
Tharp has been quiet as well. Here he is with a runner, and it's down to single digits.
That's the first time in a long time it's been single digits. Now, this is more or less the Kansas kind of team you expect to see. Getting good shots, moving the ball. If they don't fall in is one thing, but they were totally out of sync in that first half.
Wilbekin defended by Wiggins. Now Finney-Smith had a big first half, spinning on Ellis.
Big recovery right there by Wiggins.
Wilbekin the drive, yes.
And then he got lost on going to the lane. He let up. Wilbekin can't beat him off the bounce like that. He's too athletic. Wiggins, that's all just effort and determination.
A trio of Gators now with 12. Finney-Smith, Young, and Wilbekin.
You know, Wilbekin making big baskets every time they need one. Kansas makes a run and Wilbekin comes back. Saw him earlier with the 3.
11-point lead Florida. One of the biggest Gator fans around is in the house. A.J. Pierzynski, who's now a member of the Boston Red Sox, trying to win another World Series after he won one with the White Sox back in 05.
He was telling me, I hope David Price gets traded. I'm 1 for 20 against him. Get him out of our league. I don't. I want to see him back in a Rays uniform.
Embiid lays it in over Young.
That was impressive right there. When he caught the ball, the good turnaround, faced, and a good first step.
It's the second field goal of the night for Joel Embiid, who again played high school ball here last year at the Rock Schools. High school coach, his host family, all in the house tonight.
You know, Wilbekin went to the high school as well.
Wilbekin. Still loose, and Ellis has it. Had it taken away by Wilbekin.
He's one tough kid. I tell you what, he is one tough, tenacious player. He probably leads the nation in suspensions too, doesn't he?
Embiid is called for the foul. He sat out the first 5 games this year. Again, it was offered a release by Billy Donovan, but Donovan says to his credit, his attitude has been much better. He's done everything that he's needed to do to get back in the good graces of the program. This is his senior year. He's got a chance to have a special year.
He's been a good player when he's been on the floor. And he always gives you everything he has. I mean, you can never question his effort.
They've had a number of issues. Injuries. Finney Smith was suspended for the first 2 games. They've got another player, DeMontre Harris, a redshirt junior who used to play at South Carolina. It doesn't even sound like he's really a part of the program anymore. And Billy Donovan talking about him not being accountable and responsible. So the team they thought they would have, injury to Eli Carter, a transfer from Rutgers. I mean, the Gators are figuring it out on the fly here because they really have not had the team they thought they would have. Embiid smothered by Young. And then a foul called on Young.
See, Embiid's going to learn a little bit more how to get position with angles so he can utilize the backboard. He got himself in trouble there because he had a very bad angle.
3rd on Young. It was not on the initial play there. It was right there, apparently, and the call didn't come from the baseline official. It came from the official on the other side of the court. Pat Adams making the call. That's what troubled Billy Donovan. Slam by Embiid off the inbounds. That rim is still shaking.
He can really run, too. He's long, lean. He's got good speed. He's agile. He's mobile. And he's not fragile.
Certainly not at 7 foot 250. Drive, Finney Smith.
Oh, what a block
rejection
shot
by Embiid.
Embiid with excellent timing right there. Says, thou shalt not enter thy lane.
And now Tharp is fouled. Kansas continuing to make noise and to get back into it here in the second half.
Showing a lot of guts, a lot of heart, because they look so out of sync. Look at Embiid with the rejection. He's like a human eraser in there. Thou shalt not enter the lane. Look at the big fella, number 21. Billy Donovan thinking he lived, and he was right here in Gainesville. How did he get to Kansas?
Let's find out more from Shannon.
Joel Embiid told me today, I am the rim protector, and that's something he's been working on this season. Said he didn't have to do a lot of blocking when he was in high school. So, Dan Dick, he's actually gone back and watched a lot of film from Jeff Withey last season. He said he's noticed the timing. That's what he's been working on.
3rd block tonight. His timing has been excellent in this game.
Tell you the timing of Shannon, she does a terrific job. I want to be her agent.
College football, NASCAR. Zone again, 1-3-1. This stymied the Jayhawks for long stretches in the first half, and they got a turnover here, and Prather is fouled.
It's been turnover city. It's been a nightmare. He's got him in the right spots. Whenever you see a 1-3-1, you go 2-1-2. Many people do that to get right in the gaps. You're even against odd.
Casey Prather at the line. 6 points a game last year. 19 points per game this year. Billy Donovan saying he's just playing with a free mind. He knows who he is. He's not trying to take threes. He's driving the ball, and with the new hand-checking rules, he's a tougher cover. That's his first point of this game, amazingly, but he's been a huge success this year for the Gators.
Yeah, he's really been a star for them all year long. He's had so many injuries throughout his career. He and Uget, every time he turned around, they were injured.
And the lead's been hovering between about 9 and 11 in recent minutes for the Gators.
Nice rotation on those free throws. See, you try to split the top, but 2 against 1. But you got to be careful with those passes, those lobs.
Wiggins on the bench right now with the under-12 media timeout coming shortly.
You got to create some passing lanes for one another.
Here's a good look for Mason. Knocks it down.
And that's not his strength. He was 3 for 19 shooting the 3 coming into this game.
Nice assist on the bounce pass from Tharp. Down to 8.
They're slowly falling back.
Lots of time. 12 minutes to go. Wilbekin knocked away off his leg. Kansas ball.
Take a look right here. They reverse the ball out to the top of the circle, and Mr. Mason squares his body, gets good rotation.
Just making a run here in the second half. They've got it down to 8. The funny thing is Kansas, they're shooting great in the second half, as you can see, 6 for 8. On the game, Kansas is shooting 52%. Florida shooting 36%, and they're down, and that's because they've turned it over 20 times.
You beat me to the punch. I'm going to talk about the turnover situation. That's the reason.
Mason not this time. But long shot, long rebound. Wiggins doing a nice job on the glass tonight. He's up to 15 points and 8 rebounds in the game.
Critics can scream all they want. He's a big-time player.
Tharp inside, does not get the bounce, and Finney-Smith down with the rebound for Florida.
Wilbekin plays with that swag, that confidence. He really wants the ball. He's not afraid to make big plays.
So much experience for this Florida team. Prather and Wilbekin and Young.
Senior class goes 3 consecutive times to the Elite 8, and that's special.
Billy Donovan didn't like the way that possession was shaping up, so he'll use a timeout. Will step aside. 8-point game here in Gainesville.
Tell one thing, that'll be a special afternoon. You talk about 2 jerseys that represent greatness. You think about all the success over the years down at Chapel Hill, and certainly with Big Blue Nation. And they bring out a lot of fans, Big Blue Nation. And I'll tell you one thing, the question will be, will the real North Carolina team stand up? The one that lost to Belmont, or the one that beat teams like Louisville and Michigan State? Big 3 right there.
Dorian Finney-Smith with his 4th 3 of the game.
That's big time when you get a guy off the bench, give you that kind of productivity.
He came in shooting 29% from beyond the arc on the season. He's 4 for 5 out there tonight.
It's amazing how you go through scouting reports, you analyze, you evaluate, you get information, and then it goes blow it up.
If you're feeling it, you're feeling it.
He said, I learned it from Seth how to shoot like that. Every time they make a run, Florida has an answer.
Trap in the corner.
They play with the ball too much side to side. Very easy for the zone to rotate. You got to use the post like that and go to the opposite side as well.
Wiggins in and out.
Got a good shot right there, though. They got the ball into the open seam.
Mason trying to stay with the Wilbekin.
Oh, he got away with a foul. With the current rules, they usually blow that whistle as soon as you put a hand on it.
And a hold on the inside on Embiid.
Yeah, learning how to beat guys to the position. That's all a learning stage for him as he grows as a player.
3rd foul on Embiid. Young's had a good night.
That's been a problem for him, foul trouble.
Yeah, and again, such a newcomer to the game, as we mentioned earlier, from Cameroon. Luc Richard Mbah-a-Moute played at UCLA, now in the NBA, discovered him at a camp in Cameroon and said, this guy's got to go to the U.S. I mean, look at the talent on him. He's gotten too big for volleyball and soccer, and he spent a couple of years in Florida, 2 different high schools, 2 different cities, and now he is turning into one of the best young talents in college basketball.
He's got a lot of NBA scouts drooling about the potential he has.
Wilbekin.
Use that big screen up on top, ball screen, and he slides to the post, Young.
Tarek Black now in defending Young, and Young left it short. So Embiid's gone to the bench. Black in for Kansas. Jayhawks down 11.
They got to get more out of Black. He's a transfer out of Memphis. Had some productive situations down in Memphis.
And Bill Self is beside himself after yet another turnover, the 21st of the night.
21 turnovers. Think about the shot opportunities, what that does to you. Look at this offense right now. It's the zone.
Virtually ineffective all night long against the zone. Whether it's the 1-3-1 or the 2-3. They've seen the 1-3-1 more, and they've struggled against it more.
Well, they got to try to get in transition. One of the key ways to try to beat a zone, especially when you got the athletes that can get up and down the floor, beat it before it sets up. Attack. Florida make sure everybody touches the ball, get balance.
Prather. And here's Wiggins in transition. Ahead to Mason. Whoa! And he got clobbered by Prather.
And that's an example right there. Beating the zone before the zone can get a line. Get out in transition. They got athletes, but you got to rebound the basketball. Or you got to force turnovers. Starting to get a little danger time now for Kansas.
Mason getting the worst of that, but he'll shoot a couple.
They got to make something happen with their defense.
There's Frazier in for Prather.
Frazier brings that jump shot in. Prather, an athlete, good on the defensive end. Bill Self is 11th season at Kansas. He's had 8 lottery selections, won a national title. Remember that Mario Chalmers shot? John Calipari remembers it.
Winning the national championship back in 2008. Billy Donovan winning the championship in 07 and 06. Another miss, another rebound for Wiggins, another chance for Kansas to inch closer.
Attack the gap in that zone. There was a gap right there. Wiggins, he could use the bounce. You could use the dribble. A lot of guys think you can't dribble against the zone, but there's a gap. You attack it off the bounce. Make 2 guys play 1.
Here's Ellis attacking. Too strong. You get down with a rebound. Not a bad idea by Ellis, who's had a quiet night.
That was a good idea. It was a good possession. Just didn't score.
And now we might have blood on the jersey or somebody shaken up as the whistle blows. They're checking on Finney Smith as he makes his way to the Florida bench. Under 8 timeout. Gators up by 10.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college
For days is how to play against zone, because they're going to keep seeing zone until they start executing better against it. And certainly tonight they have not, with 21 turnovers already in this game.
Well, you talked about it earlier, Dan. They got a tough stretch coming up with games with New Mexico and Georgetown. It doesn't get any easier.
San Diego State.
Yes, San Diego State's very good.
Yep.
Steve Fisher's done a great job down there. I believe their only loss is to Arizona. Arizona beat them down at San Diego State. So I think when you're strong on the perimeter, you got a great chance to win. And that's one of the great strengths of Arizona. We saw McConnell and Johnson.
Yep.
Love those 2.
Wilbekin, nice fake.
Great ball fake for you young kids. He penetrates. He gets into the unbelievable golden area we would love to get, the 3-second area, and then he throws a ball fake, and 2 guys leave something on the floor.
Wilbekin with a game-high 16. Green rattles home a 3.
That's why he was brought in the game. He can shoot the ball.
Brandon Green, freshman out of Juliet, Georgia, knocks it down, and it's down to 9 with better than 7 minutes to go.
But you got to make a stop. Every time they get it to 8 or 9, Wilbekin makes a big play, and they really hurt them. They got to be able to come down with a defensive stop.
Wilbekin again. Hill with 5 to shoot. Launches. And Wiggins down with another rebound. His first collegiate double-double. 15 points, 10 rebounds for Andrew Wiggins.
Very quiet 15.
A look inside for Ellis. Black.
You got to convert that. You got to make that score. Veteran player. Black's played a number of years at Memphis before coming over to Kansas. Big play right there. See, I'm going to say this. I think that Wiggins is too unselfish. I really don't. I think that he doesn't necessarily wants to be one of the guys rather than just say, you know what? I'm going to take charge and take command and utilize my great talents. It's not about being passive. I think he's too nice a kid.
Prather lost it. Too strong off the glass, and now numbers for the Gators.
Big play right there. That's a big play. He's been a star of stars tonight. This guy has made some big plays. Every time the Jayhawks have made a run, Scotty Wilbekin has come up big. Danny Schulman, he has come up big, Danny.
You can see what they were missing with him suspended or injured. 18 tonight for Wilbekin.
Look at the emotion, the passion. Why does he get himself suspended? That's the part that bothers me. He's so loved here. I mean, it was not only this year. He got suspended last year. It's been throughout his career.
Career high 18. Mason back in for Tharp for Kansas. Young has returned for Florida. Embiid with a spin draws the foul.
He wants the basket.
No basket. It'll be the fourth on Patrick Young.
He's already learned. He's already learned the system.
Yeah.
He said he's maybe from Cameroon. But he's got, and Mr. Official, counting. Speaks 3 languages. I have a tough time speaking 1.
Bonus now for Embiid and the Jayhawks. And now he's getting an explanation from Tony Green why it wasn't a basket.
Beautiful kid. Everybody says he's a beautiful kid.
Yep. Will you get back in for the Gators? And Young will sit down. He's got 4.
I really feel when I look at Kansas, I look at Kentucky, I look at Duke. I think when you see these teams in the middle of January, February, you're going to see different teams that we're watching now. Much better. Did Mike Krzyzewski give us a lecture about cohesive?
Missed the front end. Wiggins with a rebound, but then lost it. A big collision with Yeget, but Kansas retains possession. Boy, Mason not afraid to go in there with the big guys, but he can't finish. It'll be Kansas ball.
They've not been able to finish on the last few possessions, hanging around the rim.
Well, that miss by Black would have made it a 7-point game at the time. It's 11 now. Fresh 35 for the Jayhawks.
Every possession getting bigger and bigger and more important to Kansas. Time certainly on the side of the Gators. And also on the side is an 11-point lead. And playing in front of the Rowdy Reptiles. Remember, they got 20 in a row here. One of the longest win streaks in college basketball. Missouri has the most.
Wilbekin got a hand on the pass and comes up with a steal.
And another turnover. And another turnover. And another turnover. Give me another turnover.
Nice pass inside and a foul. Wilbekin is doing everything tonight for the Gators.
He really is defensively, putting pressure on the ball at the top of that zone. When they play man-to-man, he's tough and effective. Here he is right here, going to make a steal, basically. Good anticipation.
And helps set up Yeget, who's now going to the free throw line. In comes Tharp, out goes Mason. And Casey Hill back into the game now for Florida. Both teams coming off heartbreaking defeats their last time out. Both games decided at the buzzer. Florida losing at UConn, Kansas losing at Colorado.
If Kansas were to lose and this score holds up, it's the first time they've lost 3 games this early since 2006.
Jamari Traylor. Tough move, and he draws a foul.
Took the ball strong, spun to the goal, used that athleticism, that quickness. Take a look right here. Guy's going to spin, try to go between the gap. Gets fouled. Now he's got to convert at that free throw line and rotate into some good defensive pressure.
Traylor, redshirt sophomore out of Chicago.
You think about what they lost. McLemore playing now with Sacramento. Jeff Withey. They led the nation last year in field goal percentage defensively because Withy was incredible blocking shots.
It was 36% last year. It's 42% now, although Embiid is learning to be a rim protector, as he told Shannon earlier today. I mean, Withy over the last couple of years was one of the premier shot blockers in the country.
Maybe he's putting up numbers that were challenging Tim Duncan for NCAA recognition.
They have led the Big 12 in opponent's field goal percentage in 8 of Bill Self's 10 years.
That's been one of his strengths as a coach, teaching great defense. He's a terrific coach. There is no doubt we got Hall of Famers here.
Kept alive by Embiid, saved by Traylor. Green has it. They're playing 3-on-5 for a moment there with a couple of Jayhawks out of bounds, but they need every possession and every opportunity they can get. Embiid. Gator ball.
That possession showed me where Wiggins made the entry to the post and stood there and watched. Became the Kodak man where you can take pictures. You got to be able to move and make the defense react to you. Gators taking some time off the clock. Game is there as if they good shot selection, make free throws.
Left hand, Finney-Smith in and out. Follow is good for Prather.
Great second effort. Prather with the tip in. Another big possession. Every time they need a big basket, they come through. There's the frustration on Bill Self's side. He's probably ripped out.
Had ankle injuries. Wilbekin was also suspended earlier. This is the first game in which they played together this year, and Hill hasn't played a ton of minutes, but Billy Donovan, who was worried about not having either of his point guards healthy, now knows he can always have at least one of them in the game.
Well, my friends, it's only going to get better for the Gators. They have a guy that's going to gain eligibility, might be one of the best athletes in America, Mr. Chris Walker. And word is he will become eligible probably by the Memphis game. I don't know if he'll play the Memphis game. I don't think he will, but there's a chance. And the bottom line is when he becomes part of their rotation and system, that's going to elevate that team because he has unique athleticism.
I don't know about you, but we've got a great game day schedule, but one of the ones you really look forward to is Florida, Kentucky. It's going to be a lot of fun. 16th of February, I believe. And Brandon Green is fouled before the shot. He'll step aside of the timeout. Just 3 minutes to go. Gators by a dozen.
Need advice on how to juggle those big family meals? This Kenmore Elite dual temperature double oven exclusively from Sears can help. Impressive.
On Watch ESPN.
You know, Notre Dame, Indiana, we're going to be honoring both guys, Tom Crean and Mike Brey, along with the great coach of Alabama, Nick Saban, at my Dick Vitale Gala, May 16th. If you want tickets, don't be left out. You better call.
It is a great event.
Just call 941-350-0580. And we just got a commitment. The Four Tops, a little Motown sound, are going to rock the place post-gala. We'll sell out 800. You were an MC and did a great job for us.
Great event. Happy to do it.
We go Canadian for MCs. You and John
That's right. Down to 10. 3:01 to go. Pressure from the Jayhawks.
See, I think pressure defense with their athleticism could really work with Embiid as the back guy and Wiggins at the point of a press.
Florida breaks it.
Florida's got good guards. Got experienced guards. Oh, look at this matchup here. You got to communicate on those screens, guys. People got to communicate.
Young inside. And he's just wrapped up.
He got mugged. He got mugged.
Yep.
He may be drafted in the NFL. There have been a lot of football players over the years that have been drafted in the NFL. Think about Gates, right? Wasn't he a great tight end?
Forgive me, foul is on Traylor. I mean, look, how'd you want to arm wrestle with that guy?
Tony Gonzalez, pretty good. Former basketball player at Cal.
Remember even Julius Peppers played some basketball with some. I mean, he was always more of a football player, but he played some hoops too. Oh, nearly a turnover. Embiid threw it wildly 2.5 to go, down by 10.
See, you're down by 10, your team right now. You're a superstar. You got to want the ball. You're Wiggins, you got to want the ball.
Wiggins for 3.
And that's what you got to do. You got to want the ball.
Down to 7.
I like him at the point of the press. I really do. I think they need a little more practice, rotating.
And Prather is fouled.
I think they can be really lethal with pressure defense, with Wiggins at the point and the deep guy, Embiid, and they got good athletes they can put on the wings.
Biggest problem they've had tonight, if you haven't been with us all night long, is turnovers. Kansas has turned it over 22 times. Meanwhile, Florida is just 9 of 19 from the free throw line.
And we lost sight of that because of the command of the game. But really, it's the turnover situation. I mean, mathematically, you take away 22 opportunities to shoot the basketball, you're looking for trouble.
Florida's only coughed it up 7 times.
That's a 15 differential. That's quite a bit. Like how quick I came with that 15.
That was pretty good.
No hesitation.
Yeah, you didn't even take your socks or shoes off. Use your toes to help you there. Hey, tomorrow night, ESPN delivers an NBA doubleheader at 8 Eastern. It's the Bulls and the Knicks. And then at 10:30 Eastern, the Mavericks face off with Stephen Curry and the Warriors. It all starts with PA NBA Countdown at 7:30 Eastern time. And both games also available live on Watch ESPN. We talked about all the NBA scouts who are here in this building tonight to look at guys like Wiggins and Embiid and a number of other players as well. Florida with a 58-49 lead. They had a 21-0 run in the first half. It was 10-3 Kansas, then it was 24-10 Florida. As you look at some of the professional scouts here, checking out all these great young players.
You mentioned the New York Knickerbockers in New York. It's been struggle city.
Oh boy.
But they've been without Chandler. Certainly he'll be a big plus coming back. And it's really a crucial time for them to get some W's.
Brandon Green getting a lot of big-time minutes here late for Kansas tonight. Here he is, rising, missing the shot. And Finney-Smith down with a rebound for Florida.
Gonna back it out. Back it out. Utilize the clock.
Boy, this is the guy you want with the ball in his hands if you're Billy Donovan.
And put Wiggins on top of him. And he's accepting the challenge. The bigger, quick Wiggins spreading the court, good spacing.
And they foul Young. Embiid did it purposely. You can see as soon as the ball got into Young, they want Young at the free throw line.
Well, that's smart right there. They know he's not really an effective free throw shooter. Stops the clock.
Fourth on Embiid. Young is 2 for 6 tonight from the line and came into the game at 58%.
I don't think people realize what the magnificent job Billy Donovan has done to resurrect this program and get it to where it's at from where it was. It's just been amazing to think that they went back-to-back for national titles.
You know what's amazing, too? He's been here 18 years.
Came close to going with the Magic and changed his mind.
Big miss by Young.
Wiggins got to want the ball.
Another 3.
He's got to want the ball. He's got to stop being unselfish. He's too unselfish for a talent.
He is known as more of a slasher and an athlete than a shooter, but he's made 3 threes in this game, and 6 is as close as they've been in a long time.
You know, I think his stock goes up. Even though the situation you said, well, made some mistakes out there, struggled in the first half. To me, his stock goes up. He shows range as a shooter. I just think he's got to get hungrier and really a little bit more selfish. Want the ball. Want the ball. Too talented, man. The kid's got a full package.
He's got a game-high 21 points.
I know one thing. He's never going to worry about having 3 meals on the table.
His dad played in the NBA. His mom was an Olympic hurdler.
She's a world-class hurdler.
Yeah.
She won, I believe, for your country, silver medal.
Kentucky tip against Boise State coming your way shortly on ESPNU. We've got 1:20 to go here in Gainesville, and the Florida lead, which was as many as 18 late in the first half, is down to 6.
Well, right now they need to stop or put him at the free throw line and hope for a miss. Something popped the ball loose. Oh, he got fouled.
Oh, did he ever?
He got fouled.
Did he ever?
They didn't blow the whistle there. They did not blow the whistle there. Oh, that is absurd. He got absolutely belted. Tony Green stepping in now. You watch this right here. Tell me he wasn't hammered. Oh, my. Give me a break. I got one eye. I could see that.
And I think what they're looking at, because you can do this in the last 2 minutes of regulation, is whose ball should it be? Who did it go out of bounds off of? And it is Florida ball.
Oh, that is absolutely a bad scenario. I mean, the kid was totally mugged. Think about a turnaround there. Instead of shooting 2 and getting it to 4, you got a scenario where you give the ball up, you're down 6, and they get a chance to run the clock. I mean, that is just a poor. 3 guys can't miss that, Dan. 3 guys can't miss that.
Now, he might have lost the ball before he got clobbered, but he got clobbered. But there's no call, and it's Florida ball with 1:17 to go. 3 guys up in the front court trying to bother Wilbekin, and he gets it over. Boy, is he confident with the basketball.
Yeah, he loves the ball in his hands. Free throw shooting contest right now. I can't get over the way Wiggins was hit.
Double bonus now for the Gators. And at the line is Prather. Young is out of the game right now, although he's going to come back in because Florida's going to go to defense.
Billy's so calm on that sideline. So poised, calm. I remember when he was shooting those threes, playing for Providence for Rick Pitino.
He's got his son with him as a walk-on on the team. Played a couple of years at Catholic University in the nation's capital, and now he's here as a walk-on on this team. And Bill Self's son there's Billy Donovan. And Bill Self's son, Tyler.
He's on the injured list.
Yeah, he is injured. Got a foot injury, but he's a walk-on on the Kansas side. There's Tyler.
Should maybe have Tyler play against Billy's son a little one-on-one after.
They got Evan Manning. They got Nico Roberts. They got all kinds of second-generation kids on the Kansas team.
Only had 3 guys scored 2,000 points or more there. Danny Manning, LaFrentz, and Collison.
2 big free throws for Prather.
Time running out.
Wiggins again.
Who said he can't shoot from deep?
Wow.
Who said he can't shoot from deep? He's doing all he can to help his club.
And again, this is the 3rd or 4th time Bill Self has seen this. A relatively quiet first half and then erupting in the second half. Tonight he's done it with a 3-point shot.
You know he's excellent in transition. This takes his game up another level. I mean, that's a big-time player, my friends, with that size, quickness. Somebody that makes the call for him is going to be a lucky, lucky team. Plus, he's a great kid. He really is. He wants to fit in with his teammates. No attitude problem.
Well, don't you think there's a certain...
The conclusion of our game here between Kansas and Florida will move that game back over to ESPN. Dan?
All right, Chris, thank you. Got 55 seconds to go here in Gainesville. You know the pressure's coming.
Hey, Chris, I know you mentioned a little bit earlier about that Kentucky game. That will not be Cupcake City for Kentucky. See how they react after their loss to Baylor. Boise State, very explosive, and a veteran team. Here's the full court press. See, I think Kansas can utilize this more. I really do. Changing defenses, using their... I got a layup right here.
And Hill's foul. They're going to make him earn it at the line.
If he gives the ball up right there quickly, they had a layup. Even though they don't need points now, they need time off the clock.
Well, good news for Kansas, because of the way Wiggins has been shooting, is they've been trading 2 for 3 in the last couple of minutes, and they've gotten it down to 5. The last time it was this close, it was 15-10. Back with about 11 minutes to go in the first half.
Well, it started out, Kansas took charge in the first 3-4 minutes, and then it was an incredible run. Let's not forget about that 21-zip run. That was amazing in a 7-minute spurt for the Gators. Free throw line, really a nightmare for Billy Donovan. He'd like to shoot him. He was automatic when he played at Providence.
13 for 25, 52% for the Gators.
Did you figure it out yourself or somebody
Yeah, I did.
No, somebody, you looked at that stat sheet. I know you're short, but you can't be that short. You were an actuary, weren't you?
Actuary, yeah.
Actuary, is that the word?
I'm all right with numbers.
See, I know, I follow you clear.
There's Green, lost it, tapped it, turned it over.
Frustrated there. Story of the night. story of the night.
24th turnover.
I can't remember doing a game recently with 24 turnovers.
In the first half, most of them were because of the zone defense.
I mean, even if you cut that down, you know, to 16 turnovers, it gives you 4 or 5 more baby baskets.
Valuable seconds ticking away. Prather will go to the line.
He looked pretty good at the line when he went there previously. Good rotation.
Florida trying to extend a 20-game home court winning streak.
Missouri has the most at 24, followed by Duke with 22. Stephen F. Austin has 22 as well. Florida with 20 and Arkansas with 20. John Pelfrey on that staff does a heck of a job. I thought he got a raw deal down in Arkansas. Didn't give him enough time.
Prather scoreless at the half in search of his 10th point here in the second half.
I like those shoes he's got too, man. Those orange shoes.
Nobody's back to take the pass from Wiggins. And they're fortunate just to get the ball in. Boy, oh boy. And a foul on Wilbekin. And
Silly
Wiggins
foul.
will get a couple of free throws.
Silly foul. You stop the clock at 27 seconds. Give them an opportunity to put points on the board. I mean, that's not basketball IQ by a senior player.
Wiggins has made all 6 of his free throws tonight.
So many times you talk about it, Dan, how kids don't understand time, situation, strategics.
Billy Donovan continues to sub offense, defense, bringing more ball handlers back in on offense and taking some of the big guys out.
I'm a big fan of Wiggins. I'll tell you one thing, I really am. I sat with him for a long period of time. My grandsons are here, in fact, my 3 grandsons, because they wanted to see him play. They sat with me and talked with him, told me before the game. I remember that in a Florida high school game.
Yeah. He's a kid, he doesn't like the spotlight particularly. He's a very quiet kid.
He's going to be in the spotlight a lot with his ability.
Yep. He's got almost half of their points tonight. He's had 18 of them here in the second half.
Same almost to that game with Colorado, second half explosion.
And Wiggins fouls Prather. Reminder coming up next year on ESPN. Kentucky hosting Boise State. Send you there as soon as this one is done. The O'Connell Center has been loud. The Reptiles have been rowdy here tonight.
Oh, they've been rowdy. Well, they're at store that all in. They didn't have a whole lot to cheer about today, this year in football.
Yep. They might still get a special season from their basketball team if they can stay healthy and eligible.
Prather been good on that free throw line.
Ball handlers out, Biggs back in.
Well, experience today, certainly a difference as well. Florida with a little bit more senior experience, winning experience too. It's one thing having experience, but they got winners experience. 3 consecutive trips to the Elite 8.
Trailer with a slam. Down to 6, but down to 21 seconds. And a foul before the ball came in on Tharp.
Kansas fouls on number 10, and your Tharp is 3rd.
Finney Smith didn't realize you can run the baseline after a score. You don't have to stand in one spot.
Yep.
Look at Billy.
What are you doing? Didn't you say he was calm on the sideline a few minutes ago?
Yeah, I did. He wants his baby to be tucked away. Get it away. Get number 21.
Prather had been a perfect 10 of 10 from the line.
I was perfect 10. I saw was Bo Derek. That was years ago.
You never cease to amaze me. Missed them both.
Oh, I fell to the floor.
Green, a contested corner three. And the foul against Florida on Finney-Smith. It may be all academic right now, just 11 seconds to go, and still a 6-point deficit of the trailers heading to the line.
Yeah, but if you're Billy Donovan and not talking to John Pelfrey, you're frustrated because you're saying, why are they fouling in this scenario? We got the lead, we're in command. Why stop the clock?
Substitutions for Kansas number 21, Joel Embiid. For Florida, number 0.
Drives you to no-no land, man. I'll put you in TV as a coach. It's so frustrated. Except he likes that check he gets. It's a little better than ours.
Florida fortunate in the sense that Kansas was so dismal in the first half of this game.
Absolutely. Really dismal. In fact, you said it well. We were shocked they were only down. What was it, 15?
15 at the time. Yeah, it felt like 30.
That's how poorly they played. One thing if you're Bill Self, you got to be happy when the kids scrapped back and they fought and gave a Kansas effort in the second half.
And the tough games keep coming for Kansas. Their next game's against New Mexico. That's on Saturday on ESPN2. And then a week after that, they take on Georgetown on ESPN. They've also got San Diego State before conference play begins. Florida's got Memphis 1 week from tonight. We'll see them in the Jimmy V Classic at Madison Square Garden.
He's improved his schedule because Billy used to play a lot of cupcakes down here. They loaded up on those cupcakes.
Couple more seconds, tick off the clock, and now Casey Hill will head to the free throw line. Boise State, Kentucky coming your way as soon as this one is complete.
Really, the game has not been as close as the score indicates. It's been almost really, you think about after the first 3-4 minutes, it's been all Florida.
Yeah, most of the second half was kind of between an 8 and a 12-point range.
He's going to have to be a good free throw shooter because he's going to have the rock in his hands a lot at the end of games. Very skilled ball handler. Casey Hill and Wilbekin will give him 2 solid guys late in the game if they're trying to protect the basketball. Reptiles really getting into it right now. He's got to let it fly.
And it's over.
It's over.
The Gators extend their home court winning streak to 21 with a 67-61 win over the Kansas Jayhawks. Don't forget Boise State, Kentucky coming up. For Dick and Shannon, I'm Dan Shulman. Thanks for watching. Let's send you to Rupp Arena with Dave O'Brien and Jay Billis.